Okay, thanks a lot, Julie, and I would like to welcome all the attendees here in this webinar. This is the first in 2023, and at the very beginning, I encourage all of you to be with us and share and ask any question you would like to ask, and Happy New Year for all of you and Merry Christmas. And I would like also to thank my colleague and the leader for the last year, Karim. He was the president of the Egypt chapter. He really did tremendous efforts and to increase the performance in the chapter and encourage a lot of persons to join. And I was one of them. So thanks a lot, Karim, for your effort and your support all the time during the last period. Now we'll go to the Egypt update. For now, already we have human bridge bursary. L'Oreal and IIRSM have joined force for a brand new scheme to encourage greater representation among those responsible for protecting the safety and health of people at work. This is a very good effort, and already they started this, and we have also the Risk Excellence Award. It is running. You can apply for counting down for the 4 weeks for this award. For the upcoming events, we have those updates will be, Julie will put the link in the chat box. So this is for the update that we have now for Egypt chapter. I think we can start our sharing screen and the presentation. Today, is the screen clear for all of you? It is risk appetite.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So my name again is Yassine Darwish. I'm CSP and ASP CIT certified industrial trainer, certified member, charter member. The risk appetite. Risk appetite, this is terminology. It is not common in safety in a way. And this is an umbrella term which encapsulates both risk tolerance and the quantum and nature of which are actually desired. This is a very important point because it depends on the tolerance, the appetite of the company. We decide how our metrics is going on and what we accept and what we reject, and how we can spend our money in the company in setting a lot of controls. Desire of risk, the quantum and type. It is the quantum and type of risk. The organization especially desires in order to realize its profitability and growth objective. This is where we would like to go. This is what is our profit, what is our net profit in spending for the our expansion. So the capacity of risk, absolute limit of risk that can be taken. Here is a very important point. We spend money, we should have some gain, we should have some profits, we should have some control measures that protect people and protect our assets. So this is how much we would like to spend, and is it by the end of the day this we will gain those profits or not, and this is sufficient expenditure or not. This is will lead us in the next for the term tolerance. How much risk the organization is prepared to take? Are we accepting risk? So if we noted that there is a lot of companies, they can say that we accept that one person could be injured. Other companies said, no, we cannot accept this. We are not tolerable to spend money for insurance. We are not able to pay fines for this. So this is where we can go through this. So the elements of our risk appetites, it is very simple. Risk capacity, assessment of the maximum risk the firm can bear. So after that, we are not able to accept. Risk appetite. We can accept within our limit capacity. Risk profile, allocation of risk appetite across categories. So any company and all the companies, we should have the risk profile. The risk profile, this will lead us for the strategy, and this is part of our way forward. So in our profile, we can say that we will transfer risk, like we will do some insurance. We will have some loans from the bank. What we will do exactly in this risk profile? This is our way forward. We have to spend money to gain money. So in this, we can accept which risk. We are able to absorb which risks. So the risk capacity and risk profile. So this is determine our risk appetite. In such way, we can see this inverted term. This is very, very easy. At the bottom, you will find tolerable region. Risk is insignificant and cost of reduction outweigh any minimal benefits. This is high appetite. We can monitor. Risk tolerance range. This is in our strategy. We would like to treat. So residual risk is tolerable, but only when further risk reduction is not practicable, or the cost is disproportionate to the benefit. So it is very important that the cost that we pay to reduce the risk is less than the profit that we will have from this risk reduction. So for the projects, we spend money, we will gain money from the project, but if this is crucial or critical, this means that we can tolerate or we will not tolerate. So we have to calculate it very clearly, because in our calculation, we are not only comparing between the benefits from the controls. Again, it's only the money that we spend. We will also add the cost, in the cost hour, what the money we spend, what the time we spend, what the effort, how many of our men or manpower we need to set those controls and to do this project by the end in suitable way. So this is very important. In tolerable region, no appetite. We have to treat immediately. We cannot accept, we cannot tolerate this risk. So it is unacceptable and unjustifiable risk. So, for example, any force majeure, sudden war, sudden earthquake, sudden, this is natural disaster. So it is for us, we cannot set controls. We cannot set controls from the very beginning, but we will try to mitigate and lower its risk as much as we can. So in this increasing the level of risk, we'll try as much as we can to decrease level of risk appetite. So it is very important to follow what we are doing. Elements of risk appetite. Existing risk. This is very important. We know the risk. So existing level and distribution of risk across risk categories. For all the companies, it is not only HSE in the area of risk, but we have financial risk, we have legalization risk, we have marketing challenges and risk, operational risk, computational risk. We have a lot of risk. So we have to identify in our risk portfolio what are our risks in general. And this should be after the vision and mission. We have to set our risk profile that will lead us again to that strategy. So from the point of view that what are the capacity, this is the maximum risks that we can accept, that we can bear without any collapse for the company. So without bankrupt, without endanger our reputation, without endanger our people. So this is the maximum that we can tolerate. So the tolerance, risk tolerance, acceptable level of variation, and entity is willing to accept around specific option. This means that we can accept this risk. Maybe we can try to work, set some controls to reduce it. But if it will be exist, we can accept it. It is not harm or very harm for us. We can live with. Desired level of risk, what is the desired risk, and what the return level. So this is very important to calculate. If we have some risks, we have to know what will be the return when we set controls. So it is all the time what the risks, what we are ready to accept in comparison to the value, in comparison to the benefit that we will have from exposing to this risk. Thinking beyond tail risk. Tail risk, typical risk tolerance and risk appetite. This is diagram showing what the risk tolerance and what the likely of outcome. The expected profit should be to the peak. It should be to the top here, but it varies from here. What if we are accepting this or not? New technology, some legal issues, some liabilities with changes in those new legislations. So change risk profile to enhance return. We have to work in our risk appetite. So by articulating the risk appetite in more risk-sensitive terms, strategic decision-making will be enhanced. This is very important. When we say that we have the risk profile or risk portfolio, this means that we have to set our strategy, and this is involved in our strategy. So to build strong companies, we should have this risk profile. And this is at the very beginning. We are not talking about the what we call the risk assessment tools that are normal in the ISO 30001 and 10, but this is for the strategic level. So it is not the daily operation one. Change the risk profile by reducing the risk, taking on new types of risk which are previously not desired despite attractive risk return profile. This is very important. Sometimes we have to accept or add new risks, but it is not counted at the very beginning. So we have to know what will be the benefits if we can tolerate this or not. For example, I'm starting now to open new company or new branch of the company in somewhere in new country or a new district. There is some challenges in this area. We can say this risk or some challenges in this district. This means that I have to accept new risks. So I have to add the risk, those risks to the company risk profile, and I have to deal with. So I have to know what is my appetite for those risks. Maybe this will change my strategy in dealing with the risk. Decreasing downside outcome. Risk transfer strategy, take it by any means, whatever we will hire a contract, whatever we have a higher insurance, whatever we will do exactly, this will be fine with us. Increasing upside return. We have to look for new opportunities. The new opportunities has two types. It has its risk and this is the other side. So when we look for the new opportunity, this means also that we can change our risk profile. When we have those opportunities, for example, that I just mentioned, that we'll have a new branch in a new district, this is a risk, and this is also opportunity to gain more and to have more benefits, or return will be more. This is an example for the torrents, and we will have those examples. So what I want to have now in this, that we have to link business strategy and the capital, conceptual foundation, risk appetites, risk against the capital, against the profit. This is conceptual foundation. Solvency, how much risk, performance, risk, risks, and why. So those are the triangle that will set for us our values, what we want to have exactly. We have diversification, we have risk finance, pricing, underwriting, risk management. We have a lot of issues in this conceptual foundation. Risk appetite, it is very important part, but what I want to highlight here by the end nearly, that we have to find out what is the risks, what is the objectives, the risk, attitudes, and capacity of assuming risks. We seek and will accept a high level of mortality risk. This is not acceptable, but this is in reality. We don't know what we'll have exactly in life, but our objective willing to put achievement of objective at risk. So the risk profile, it has a lot of boundaries that should be managed, and this should be linked to the risk profile. By the end, we have to go to what we call it reasonable, as low as reasonable and acceptable. The as low as reasonable, this is a key change that we have. Reasonably and practicable. Alarm, as low as reasonably practicable. For control to be reasonably practicable, the cost must be sensible in proportion to the safety gain, which is reasonable. This means that we will spend time, we will spend money, we have time, money, and people, manpower, that we spend those resources to have what is practicable and control the risks, which is very important for us. This is very important because if we have the risk metrics for any company, the risk metrics mean that we set, we can classify it into 3 or 4 or 5 probabilities against 5, 4 or 5, whatever severity or consequence. From where, what we get those probabilities, from where we get those consequences, or likelihood and consequence. What are the sources? Did we build the history? Did we have the practice in building our own metrics, or we have it from other companies? If we will have it from other companies, this will not be real and will not match for us, because in other companies would say that we can accept this is tolerable for us and consider it very, very mild consequence that we can pay $10,000. But my own company, it is where I work, is the whole what we have in the company is $20K. So this means that if I lose 10 out of 20, this means that it is a lot of money. So we have to be careful in this subject. I try to simplify it as much as I can, because it is linked to a lot of issues, and we have to know exactly what is the risk management. We have to go through the risk management deeply, and we have to know the framework and what are the boundaries for the risk management in general. I am done for today. I hope it is not long and ready for any question.
Okay, thank you for that. I'm just checking to see if we've had any questions come through. We've not had any questions come through yet. Does anybody have a question on today's presentation? If you want to pop it now in the questions area, and we can get that answered for you. So there's nothing as yet. Yasin, do you want to leave people with any last comments or any top tips on dealing with this? Oh, someone's just said, nice one, great presentation. So that's nice to hear.
Thank you. Anyway, they can send their questions or queries, whatever they like, anytime, and Egypt chapter is willing to reply for anyone from the society, or hope he will join or she will join the society, and they are welcome.
Okay, we've just had one question come in. Can I use benchmark tool for risk assessments?
Can what?
Can I use the benchmark tool for risk assessments?
Okay, risk assessment. What what do you mean by risk assessment? Because risk assessment, this is systematic approach.
Yeah, so Hesham, you sent that question in. If you could clarify, please, that would be helpful. And whilst you're doing that, we can move on to the next question. So this is from Ahmed. Does reasonably only relate to money and time?
Yes, exactly. Reasonably relate to money, time, and effort, manpower. How much we spend.
Okay, great.
Resources.
Just wait. Yeah, just waiting for Hesham to come back. So all it says is, can I use benchmark tool for risk assessment? I'm not sure what a benchmark tool is.
If he means benchmarking, this means they compare between apple, what we call it apple to apple. I have the same industry, I benchmark my risk assessment, and they are working with the same industry, so I can compare between my risk assessment and their risk assessment. But the process of risk assessment, you want to compare between the process, you want to compare between the metrics, or we want to compare between what is already done in the risk assessment, how you perform the risk assessment. So please clarify.
Yep, it hasn't come back yet, so it looks like he might have answered his question. Okay, that's no more questions for today. Thank you so much, Yasim, for today's presentation. Your first one as Egypt branch chair. Hopefully we'll see people at the next branch meeting that we'll be promoting in the next couple of days. I'd like to thank everyone for attending, and just to remind you, your certificates will come out to you this time tomorrow, and the presentation will be uploaded onto the YouTube channel. We've just had clarification here. So another question. What about the residual risk? Should it not be considered regardless of cost? That's a good question.
Residual risk, this is exactly, it is acceptable for us, it is tolerable for us. There is no 100% risk control. The only risk control is the elimination. This means that this risk is not exist in our process. So what we measure usually the residual risk after setting controls. Did we set a lot of controls to reduce the risk as much as we can? And at the same time, do we accept this risk from the point of view? This means that it is tolerable for us. We can live with this risk. It's okay. This means that this is the residual risk.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much for that. So that's it with the questions. I'd like to wish everyone a good evening or a good afternoon wherever you are in the world, and we look forward to seeing you at the next Egypt branch committee meeting, branch meeting. Good night, everybody.
All right. Thank you.